Thank you guys for coming in. My little stream. I'm waiting for a game to download.
Almost a full year of wetness and chaos. Happy affiliate anniversary. Hyper Chica crazy.
Thank you so much. Bula Bula. I love you, woman. I got to see that woman in person, man. I almost fell in love with her, man. Pro tip, guys, if you're ever gonna meet Honey Spider, man, tell her to wear glasses, man. Yeah, almost, Sayo. I had to, I had to like gather myself, and I had to be like, we must stay focused, men. We must stay focused. I've never seen bigger, browner eyes in my life, man. And she, Hansbula's like freaking, she's like 3'11", so she looks up at you with like them puss in boots.
I'ma tell her to wear contact purely out of spite.
Oh, fuck you, Boney. Boney, it was a pleasure meeting you two guys. I got to meet Boney, man. Me and Boney were in the same fucking establishment, and it didn't implode. I am excited to see you guys once again. I'll be making a trip to Chicago soon. So, not the cat hackers. Also, I'm waiting for a game to download, guys. That's why we're just chilling here and hanging out. But I'm going to be playing that new game, Black Myth Wukong. I'm going to check this game out. Unless we could, hey, yo, Bula, what is going?
We outside!
Unless, oh, shit. I don't know. I do kind of want to play some Fortnite too, though. Nah, that's right, Tatsuya. There's a lot of people didn't end up showing up. Aside from you, we were missing Candy, we were missing Funk. Odie never came by, so we never got to meet Odie. But that's all right. That's right, because next time, everybody's gonna show up next time. Yeah, next time I gotta go to the beef too. We didn't do that. We definitely didn't do that. We got to do that next time. Also, your boy hasn't ate anything yet. I know, Bula. I was trying to add some stuff to the stream, though. I was trying to add some things to the stream. But I kind of forgot how to do stream things, and so that's why I didn't do it. I'm gonna go with one of my low calorie hacks. I honestly don't know what stream things are. Oh, really, Sayo? When was the last dream? When was the last time you had a dream about us? So, do you know? Fun fact. This is a fun fact, but basically, if you ever dream about somebody in your dreams, it is a person that you have come across at least once in your life. You may have never even spoken to the person, but you have had to have seen them because your brain cannot create people in your dreams. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Even if you saw them like in a picture or something, you get what I mean? But when it comes to like dreams, your brain cannot create new people. Bula Bula, have you been practicing Mario Kart? Because tomorrow is Saturday, and I might be doing Switch Saturdays tomorrow. Have you ever had a dream that you had damn, that would have been dope, like a that would have been dope if someone redeemed that.
Yeah.
Yo, Black Magic, welcome on in, Queen. Okay, we got 8 minutes left, guys. We got 8 minutes left. Welcome on in, Black Magic. It's great to see you. Oh, you're gonna play the game? Yeah, I'm gonna play the game because one, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Now, if you're wondering what the hell does that even mean, actually, Goku from Dragon Ball Z was inspired by this guy right here. Sun Wukong. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. Am I gonna get the platinum? I don't know. I mean, eventually I'll get the platinum to the game, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it right now. I still have to do Crash. It is, man, and Wukong is breaking all sorts of records. All sorts of records.
While that Goku was inspired by a game from 2024. Didn't know that was possible.
Thank you, Moni. One thing I did add to my stream though, I add something called Add a Rick. For 180 bits, you can add another Rick on the screen, and he will pop up anywhere on the screen, such as like this. Oh, I got one right here. No, why is it not working? Oh, maybe because I have these on. Hold on a second. Okay.
I just don't think there's anybody better.
Really?
You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us.
Huh?
Look at us.
If you vote for me, all of you want is
It's still going. Still going. It's still going. Oh, fuck you.
We outside!
I just don't think there's anybody better. You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us.
Huh?
Dan
I'm in
41.
danger.
Wait, did it just replay again? Okay. We gotta stop it, guys. That was. Thank you so much, guys. Hold on. I forgot how to stream. Brasha!
But not until after they pulled out.
Good boy, Catbug.
I'm Catbug.
I mean, she gave me, and then I gave her some.
I'm quarantined due to COVID. This is my third time that I had to deal with COVID. Damn, love drama. I'm sorry to hear that.
I just don't think there's anybody better.
Yo, Sketch, I'm playing the thing.
You got it.
I'm playing the thing.
You got it.
Sketch.
Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us.
Huh?
Look at us.
Seriously,
Bullshit
guys, thank you so
explained.
much for the love. Thank you for the hype train right now, currently at level 3. I appreciate you guys. I love you all. But yes, we're going to be playing the game. We're going to be playing the game that everybody's been talking about. The game that's broken all sorts of records. I think currently 2.2 million concurrent peak players at one point and sold over 10 million copies. The game that IGN tries shitting on.
Black Myth was my nickname in college.
That is wild. That is wild. Yo, Sketch, I love you too, big man. I love you so much, man. And also, Sketch, the third session of that tattoo, it came out well, man. I like how that. I like how your leopard came out, man. Right? It's a leopard, right? A leopard or a jaguar? Yeah, it's a leopard. Okay, good. I don't know if I have any more time left in this download. Oh no, download had happened already. Okay. All right. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this game. As Boney pointed out, the creators of Dragon Ball Z, time travel to the year 2024 and based Goku's character along with all the other Saiyans off of this guy right here. That's Hans Bulla. What are we doing? Performance mode, quality mode, balance. No, I want performance.
Happy affiliate versary, sir.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Joe, tell me all about your trip. Mill, tell me all about your trip. Okay, don't close the game while the above thing is. She could post it in Aperture Addicts. Aperture Addicts. That's the selfies channel. I was gonna ask if any of you guys got a tattoo out in Japan, because like if you go to Japan, that's one of the things you got to do. Thank you, Faust and Funk. It went off again because I had to restart the bot because the bot was very, very, very delayed. Damn, this game looks nice. This game looks nice. Okay. Oh, let's go to settings. Use gourd, staff spin. What's a staff spin? Is that like a defense? It says defense. Thrust stance, smash stance, pillar stance. Those were all my nicknames in college. Gameplay. Accessibility, subtitles, colorblind mode. That is so dope. Motion blur strong. Ugh, no motion blur. Yo, does this game not have a difficulty setting? It's just one straight up one difficulty? Are we going Soulsborne up in this bitch? We survived an earthquake and a typhoon, and Milo was a star everywhere. Well, that doesn't surprise me that Milo was a star everywhere, but damn, surviving an earthquake and a typhoon. I've been through a few earthquakes myself, especially whenever I visited Peru. Wait, this is... Hello? Nimbus cloud. Nah, look at all those armies, bro. That one celestial in the middle, is he sitting on an elephant or does he have like an elephant trunk sized dick? Oh, that doesn't look good.
My master. Safe. The scriptures. Sound. All I ever wanted was a life in my mountain, free from you and your so-called knights. Those high above don't trust me. I understand that.
I kind of want to put the voice in Japanese.
And they send you and those knuckleheads to threaten me, to obey and serve once more. I understand that too. But what I don't understand is You bastards killing my kind!
I don't know if this is the dog. This is the kind of dog you can pet. Yeah, he almost killed his own dog.
Stay back! Stupid dog. Mark this. He's not just any monkey.
How do I?
Merit.
I can't change.
A monkey was made Buddha once.
I can't change the
None other than me
language right now.
can challenge him to a duel. Look, monkey. I don't make a habit of fighting someone I've bested before.
Oh, tell Mill I appreciate
Here's my
that,
offer.
sharing all the moments on Discord.
If you lose, I'll take you to the Celestial Court. They will stay and level your mountain. But if I lose, I shall certainly take revenge, and they will level your mountain nonetheless. How tragic would that be, huh? You are one of the court. We don't need to resort to violence. How about you bend the knees, admit the wrongs, and we can put this behind us.
All these years, except for that pig, you're the one who talks the tallest tales. Good, I am entertained. Speaking of entertainment, wouldn't it be fun if I plucked
voice is
your
wild.
extra eye out for my snack? Because I'd hate those below.
Chicago was a vibe.
And
I had a
that
lot of
black
fun.
mutt of yours. Come at me, all of you.
All of them?
They gave you many chances.
Lock on target.
Yet you spurned each one. Such
Line
ingratitude.
attack. Roll incoming attacks. Okay. Oh, shit. So we dodge on right on. How do I like block? God, welcome on in. Heavy attack is triangle. Now you tell me?
To be honest, I just can't say your hypocrisy. Your escape was fine.
Just tell me there's a parry. That was a flex right there, guys.
The
Oh!
victorious fighting Buddha. Have you any idea how many would give their everything for immortality?
Immortality? For that word, all realms and beings have ruined themselves.
Unleash your might!
My bad, homie. Oh, I did the...
You are what I say you are! Your escape will cry.
Oh, I can freeze him. Did I know that?
Defiance only compounds it. The Celestial Court welcomed you, foul monkey, yet you remain untamed. None shall save you now.
Dear brother, your edge needs honing. Good. I was in need of a back scratcher.
Oh no, put it in reverse, Care. That's what that does. So I can take hits with the rock solid thing.
Foul monkey! Taste my axe!
That axe so huge though.
Rat! You call that a duel? The glare up here is dazzling. Fight me in the woods if you have the guts.
I'm not gonna lie, but he kind of looks like Caesar from the Planet of the Apes series. Stream is going well, Doc. We literally just started. I haven't really been celebrating myself. Actually, while I was doing like bot stuff and adding stuff to stream, I just found out today that it was my stream anniversary. But I'm celebrating by playing this very, very cool game that I've been looking forward to for a long time.
And so ends the last tale of Sun Wukong. A hero who treasured his
We drank all the champagne in Chicago.
above all else. Buddhahood he attained.
I even drank
yes,
Malort, which
but cumbersome he found the celestial rules, for he yearned to come
if
back.
anybody knows what
and to
Malort
revel
is,
in the simple joys with us.
don't do it.
Little did he know, his choice to forgo the life above.
It went down. It went down fucking smooth though, Duff. Like it went down smooth, Duff. That aftertaste though is bad, and I've ate ass before, so that aftertaste is.
This stone has stood for countless days on the mountain. Since my youth, they've said that his remains lie within it. Unbegotten, undying, such is the nature of a stone monkey. Though his body was broken, his spirit endures. Into 6 relics he turned, and separately they escaped, choosing to stay hidden. Those are the 6 senses of the great sage.
How was visiting Fox? We were watching you guys through our mobile devices. It looked like it was a good time.
I'm old now. Venture through all the lands I cannot. Yet among you, there might be one who is destined. One that shall recover all his scattered relics. And upon the return of the relics to Mount Tuaguo, he may yet rise again.
Chicago was a vibe. I got to meet Boney, Honey Spider, Jess Elise, Wiz Khalifa. These are the people that I'm naming are the people I met for the first time. I think that was it, right, guys? Oh, and Watoza and Watoza's son I got to meet. Man, the food was great. The company was great. It was just great. I fucking loved it. It was great. Yeah, we got pretty high. Bula, we got pretty high. I'm not gonna lie.
Nowhere better than a home.
Yeah, I'm not going to TwitchCon. I'll be going to Chile though. But in the same weekend that TwitchCon takes place, I'm going to Chile.
Bliss my fate shows.
Luck's around the corner.
You got way too high and just cried at animals.
Perfect timing.
I would love to get high with you one day.
I needed a snack. You sneaky rascal! Dad, fool me! I'll make sure you regret it.
He was an apple? What the fuck? Lock on target, rotate the camera, switch targets while locked on. Okay. Perform consecutive light attacks.
I just don't think there's anybody better. Really? You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh?
And eat ass, and
Look
I
at
brought
us.
plenty
I'm
of
here
hot
to
sauce.
eat ass, and I brought plenty of hot sauce.
Just make sure the hot sauce doesn't get inside the ass. It's not a good time. I speak from
We're gonna
experience.
pull it like a pilgrim.
I also found out some big news while we were in Chicago, which apparently was told to me like 3 fucking times in the past like 4 months, but I never heard it. I never saw it. I feel like I would have reacted to it
Not this again.
No, but yo, Hansbula, I had an existential cry. Like, you don't understand the shit I was going through because I felt so bad that I did not acknowledge it. Even Holly knew before Rick. No. Holly didn't know. Holly, did you know that Max and Jax were an item? And if you did, how long ago did you know this? How long ago did you know this? Because Max said, matter of fact, Max, do me a favor. Can you go through your chat history right now and look for when you told me in chat that that even I knew? You know what? Well, fuck this. That's bullshit. Bullshit. That's bullshit.
I knew it was gonna happen in San Diego.
That's bullshit. You know what? I gotta add my two memes. The two new memes I wanted to add. Important poll up. Did you know Jax and Max were a thing? Prior to today, yes. Prior to today. Just found that bitch out. Actually, you know who I want to ask? Steven, where did you find out? Was it in here, in this chat? Or was it elsewhere? I lurk and no. So it wasn't in here. Okay. That's good. That's good that it wasn't in here. Because what had me really like overthinking shit was Max said that he had told me in chat. And I just feel like had he told me in chat, other people would have reacted. Even like, cause I know I miss chat sometimes, you know what I mean? I miss some of the stuff that you guys write, but I just feel like news like that, if it was said in chat, would have been celebrated by others, and then I would have caught on to it. Apparently he told me in a VC
What you waiting for?
a couple of times too. I be minding mine too. Sometimes I think I be minding mine a little too well because I feel bad that I
Hey, wait! I, the keeper of Blackwind Mountain, have long been waiting for your arrival. Oh, his spitting image, I'd say.
Holly, how long ago did you find out, Holly?
Up ahead is
You found out before
Temple.
Chicago, like did you find out through Duff? Or did you find that on your own?
Bustling with worshippers before it was ruined by that fire.
Duff told you. I just like listen, I just want to know if it was ever
The
said
temple was
in my channel.
rebuilt.
I don't
What
think it
good is
was.
to rebuild a temple. If the
I feel like
goodwill of men
Max may have
has
said it
been
over at
burned
Fox's. I
to
feel like Max may have
ashes.
said it over at Maddie's. But not here.
You've forgotten this place, but they haven't forgotten you.
It was on 7-7 here. I mentioned it.
That's a tough
7-7.
one.
I'm about to go through your damn
Good luck
fucking.
to you.
I'm about to go through your messages. 7-7. $7.19, $7.12, $7.11, 7-8. Wait, is this still 7-7? No, is this not? No, this is a 7-7. Fucking date is this now? No, wait, 7-12. Okay, Max, this one day you said a fucking Rick, you didn't tell me this. This fucking owns. Even if we don't go, I'll go out and get one else. I'll have a grill. Did you already put it in the chat? Hold on. I guess I probably did not directly say it, but I did mention that Jackson and I would need a room for Chicago. Motherfucker! You never said it here. Oh. Okay, I don't feel so bad anymore. Also, I'm gonna go and get my food, so I'll be right back. I'll leave you guys with some good music. But I don't feel so bad anymore. TMI. Thank you so much, TMI. How are you feeling, bro? I was like, I'm pretty sure they're saying what I think they're saying, but out of abundance of caution and me being a dumbass, I'm gonna assume I'm wrong. So, when I say I mind my business, I mind my business, Goth. And so, like, especially, and I'm speaking on my chat and my chat only. I'm not speaking on anyone else's chat, okay? But in my chat, it's become normalized that we threaten one another with a good time, like, you know, oh, I'll eat your ass this or I'll eat your ass that and whatnot. I have seen a pattern in where, you know, Max has said things to Jax, but I always thought that it was one of those, like, you know, I'm threatening you with a good time, like, you know, Jax mentioning something about crushing things with her thighs, and then Jax will be like, I'd be honored to get crushed by your thighs or whatever. So I'm just thinking like, oh, you know, it's just playful banter between, you know, just community members and whatnot.
I just don't think there's anybody better.
Thank you so much,
Really?
TMI.
You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you.
TMI.
Look at us.
Can you update me on your health,
Look at us.
bro?
Huh?
If you don't mind
Look at
doing
us.
it here, or if you want,
Happy subversary, Rick.
shoot me a DM, because I know that you weren't in really good shape a couple of months ago. Like, are we able to at least speak now? You know what I mean? Oh, I mean every word I say when I say I want to eat your ass. Well, I mean, I kind of hope you do too, because it makes me feel validated and whatnot. But yes, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. Okay.
Happy affiliate anniversary, man. You're gonna get some massive head. Also, love you, man.
And apparently I'm gonna get some massive head.
We outside!
So there's that. I'll be right back, guys. I'm getting food. All right, we're gonna sit down and eat for a bit. Okay, what's happening here? Oh, guys, we also have a new chat redemption. Yeah. So if like if chat is getting a little horny and stuff, we have a horny spray for chat now too. So we've got the horny spray for chat now. We've got for 180 bits, we have the add a Rick bit redemption, which you add a random Rick on.
Manuel, ando bien ganosa, mi chiquitito. Yo sé que voy a aguantar, Manuel. Ya me estoy comiendo el cevichito con mucho camaroncito, mi Manuel. Te amo, pa.
Yo, bro, they did you wrong with that video, bro. They did you so wrong with that video, bro. Oh, I gotta add Ted's one. I gotta add Ted's one too.
You need to quarantine 10 days, but also you don't. You can just quarantine for 5 days, but you would still need to wear a mask because you like could still be contagious. But like you're also not contagious at that point, and you shouldn't go to work, but like if they need you, you should probably go to work. Only go to work if you don't have symptoms, but like if you have symptoms, it's okay. But, like, you should be taking tests, but also, like, don't take a COVID test because there's not enough. But, like, you should be taking one as much as you can because, like, you might have COVID.
I think it's feeling pretty well.
Holy shit.
The Majin Buu looks a little rough, though, but that's because I had a lot of, like, I have a lot of, like, IRL scars on my arm. So... yes, this is Popeyes. So, as you guys know, I'm going through like my weight loss journey. Shout out to people like Pressure for inspiring me. But with that being said, I follow this creator on TikTok, and she basically like her TikTok posts are essentially.
We're frying it too? This can't get any better. What else? What are we gonna do? You move mountains.
Yo, Big My Back Baby out of context is wild. Carly, that brown hair looks incredible on you, girl. So I follow this content creator on TikTok. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but anyways, her TikTok content is essentially she posts low calorie, high protein fast food meals. So if you don't have the time to like prepare food at home or whatever and whatnot, she has like these cheat meals that you could do from all sorts of restaurants. So the Popeye meals is the five piece tender blackened chicken. Don't eat the biscuit because the biscuit itself has more calories than the whole meal itself. But basically, you take the blackened chicken and you dip it in mashed potatoes. And I think that right there is like only 560 calories. All right. While we're here, though, I got to add Ted's entrance. I don't know if you guys were around for Ted's last stream, but he created a meme. And the meme was an idea between Ted and Carly while we were high as fuck. I was right there in front of them, and they were just fucking making fun of my allergies. But anyways, Hold up. Because Ted did DM it to me, so. Okay.
We built Strip City.
All right. So I'm not going to use it the way Ted is going to use it in on stream. This video that Ted made on stream will be his entrance. So anytime Ted comes into my stream, you're going to hear "We Built Shrimp City."
This is how we This is how we do. Nobody do it like we do it, so show us some love.
Green screen. Shrimp City. Green screen. Baby Babel. All right. All right. Now to add these things. Create new Shrimp City. On and on. That's gonna be Ted's intro. And then another one that I wanted to add was the one I made yesterday.
I just don't think there's anybody better. Really? You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Look at us.
Dang, I was making out here. All right. So that the baby, so this is the idea that I have with the baby. So the baby would be something like if I say, like, if I'm talking and I'm saying something and you guys just want to fucking interrupt me and just be like, yo, I don't want to hear your shit, Rick. But then I'm gonna have a button myself, because if you guys say something out of pocket, I'm gonna press that button myself. All right, now I got to Ted's entrance. I could honestly put that for you too, Carly, if you want. The Shrimp City. Because it was both your ideas, you know what I mean?
I just don't think there's anybody better. Really? You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Look at us.
Cock.
Steel, Rocky.
Did you know that's there are tentacle?
There are tentacles where? Toggle OBS source visibility. Okay. How long is this TED video? 27? All right. Shrimp City. Delay. And the delay would be 27 seconds. And we're going to toggle the effect again. Oh, I love Firebot. Firebot
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Maybe you got rid of that old yee ass haircut you got, you get some bitches on your dick.
What's good, Pie? All right, let's see if it works.
Toys. Some of the dark fantasy book authors are partnering with companies.
We built Strip City. We built Strip City on cocktail sauce. We built Strip City. We built Strip City on cocktail sauce.
Get your bottle of Big Shrimp City cocktail sauce at any local all.
Oh, no. Maybe I got to do 28 seconds? Or I'll do 29 seconds. Let's see. There we go. There should be no echo there anymore. All right, so when Ted comes in, that's gonna play. I have a couple of more memes to add, but I won't add that today. Also, I was gonna make that other one a command. What should the babbling baby command be? Wait, my search history? What do you mean is my search history showing?
Us out of pocket when name one time. I have a better time. I have a better chance naming a time you guys were not out of pocket. Wait, that makes sense? I don't know, guys. I don't know how to stream. Sayo? You want me to do the command as Sayo for the babbling baby? Oh. What should the command be?
I just don't think there's anybody better.
Babble?
Really? You got it. You got it. Hey, thank you. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Look at us.
No, not the Shrimp City Funky, the babbling baby. The baby that goes that I can't even do what the baby does. This one Funky, hold on.
My nipples are hard as diamonds right now.
I don't even know how long that video is. Hold on. Green screen. 5-second video. Okay. This one, Funk. I'm gonna do 5.5 seconds. All right. We're gonna save it. That one has an echo. I'll fix it right now. All right, now it should have no more echo. Also, Carly, Carly, X, Candy. Whenever you guys got a chance, let me know. Let me know when you want to do the Moving Out 2 streams again. Ray, how you doing, bro? You know what? I've got a good amount of you guys in chat. So I do want to say something. So before I went to Chicago, right? Yo, Curtis, I just saw what you wrote, Curtis. Welcome on in, Curtis. Immersive Sinner, what's up, man? So this is kind of like on the serious note. My mods already know what went down, but before I went to Chicago, I applied for partner a 4th time, and I got denied once again. Their reason for denial this time around, though, was because apparently I have artificially inflated views. I never got an email back for them, even after I reached out to them to literally asking them what exactly do you mean by that? But in my head, the way I translated it, the only way it could be translated, in my opinion, is, I'm getting view botted. So I'm not trying to point fingers or whatnot, but if somebody in the community is doing that with good intent and trying to help me, I kind of just want you to know that it's doing me more hurt than it is actually helping me out. So if you could kindly like I guess like not do it anymore and just let me grow on my own. Again, I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone. Although I think it's Ray that's doing it, but
Fine, I will remove them.
not Ray respond. Yo, I did not even fucking think Ray. No.
We got him.
Case closed.
But yeah, guys. Yeah, if somebody is doing it with good intent, just know that it's hurting me more than it's helping me out. Fuck you, where my child support been? It's been 9 months.
Fuck you, where's my child support? It's been 9 months, Papa. Just kidding, Rick, love you.
First of all, the kid's in my custody. So where's the child support from you?
Yeah.
Don't you fucking run away when I ask for it? That's crazy. Took the scooter and everything and ran away. Crazy because I had it typed out. I was waiting for you to finish your announcement, bro. I didn't even expect that, bro. That's good though. Somebody clip that, man. Somebody clip that. Okay. I finished my food. And damn, I really want to eat that biscuit.
Drama.
All right.
Leave the biscuit alone.
That's crazy, yo. Step away from the biscuit, sir. All right. We are good. I'm kind of hoping that Ted comes into stream today. All right.
Drama.
Now I'm not the only one getting it. Chat gets it too. Okay. You're not using it responsibly.
Update. Ava has 3 bottom teeth and 2 top teeth, of which she uses to bite skin.
I too use my bottom teeth and top teeth to bite skin when I eat ass. Fully restores your conditions and replenishes your gourd. Enemies will also respawn. Instantly to a keeper shrine where incense has already been offered. Okay. Collect gifts. Oh. Wait, hold on. How do I equip the deluxe edition stuff?
I kind of want to see his face though. Oh shit. Oh, my man is dripped the fuck out, bro. Damn. Oh, hella dripped out. Slightly increases movement speed. I'll take that. Oh. Oh, y'all see it though. Y'all see the drip. Tomorrow, guys, because I will stream tomorrow. Tomorrow I want to do Switch Saturdays again. So if you have a Nintendo Switch, make sure you have a charge. We'll be playing games like Mario Kart and Fall Guys. Oh no, that's a gourd. Shit. What does that do? There's no button to parry. Stepdad might appear in there, not this weekend, but maybe next. Are you talking about for like the Switch games, the Nintendo Switch games that we're playing? Oh, that's what's up. Is this open world or is this like linear open world? He's got heavy footsteps. He a big boy. I don't know what this does. Like, is that for projectiles? Goddamn. Oh wait, that's part of the story? Oh, that is part of the story. Milo will play with me. Milo's always welcome.
But the immobilized spell still
we got a lot of new
works
players
like
for
a
Mario
charm.
Kart that I know of.
Since you hail from Mount Huagro, it won't hurt to teach you a handy trick. Now, here we go. Give me your hand. There you go. Should you come across any miscreants, just point your finger at them and release this spell. You'll be able to hold them in place while giving yourself a breather. Sadly, mine is but a humble trick. Its power will wear off within a few short moments. Though it's good enough against boneheads like this one. Anyway, just consider it an ace up your sleeve. No! The young ones these days know no manners! Fear not. Teach them a lesson with your new spell!
Okay. I don't want to go there yet, though. That looks like story progression. And I just need to find stuff out. Where'd you go? Can't jump there? Oh. I also want to speak Chinese. Subtitles on. Oh shit, they blow up in my face. I'm afflicted with something. It looks like poison. Jade Lotus. Shit, I died? I didn't even look at my life. So is this like souls? Do I have to go back and get my soul?
like how they illustrate them. I like the art style. That's all this area was? Just the one fight? I guess I gotta go back to where... This game is called Black Myth Wukong. Enable sprinting while charging. Yeah, this is new. This came out this past week. It just came out. Can't do nothing to the bunny.
don't know, the meditation point is like a checkpoint or something. I'm getting Ghost of Tsushima vibes from this though. Oh, that gave me a spark. I could sell the gold. I don't know what that does for me, but I guess I'll go with this.
再不知深浅的这么往前硬闯，只怕得吃大苦头。我且把你变为一只金蝉，你可顺着前面的火光探一探这山中的虚实。小庙还有诸多神奇妙用，日后你自会明白。黑风山的后山重地藏着不少秘密，想四处探探的话，务必留神金蝉的存续时间。若是遇上穷途迷路之处，小神自会暗中提点，放心去吧。
And I can't transform back?
快跟上，别乱了阵脚。 味道。
Ah, so that. So that's for projectiles. I wonder if I could block regular attacks with that though. There's no map. I feel like I missed something. There's people there. And this is where I came from. Oh, it's not. 'Cause there's an incest here. Oh wait, no, that's the incense that I put before. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. He got a big head. Said, I'll do it. second time I died to that guy. It's time to lock in. All right.
serious? This one guy's just pushing my shit in, bro. Evil repelling medicament. Oh, Lochter, thank you so much, man. Welcome on in. Oh, shit. Yeah, he was shooting arrows. He's shooting a lot of arrows at me. You're a 4 today? Hey, man, I love that for you, man. Trying to figure out what is all this that I'm collecting. All right, let me try to fight this big dude again. Terrible at this game. Fierce moves and swift dodges. Welcome on in, man.
Let me see you
Bro, what is that? Ooh. Shit. Dropping cheeks in chat. Now clap, clap, clap. Damn. Thank you so much for the prime, bro. How you been, Dwight? How's life, man? I feel like I haven't spoken to you in a minute. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Tired man got talked into surprise double shift. I read about that. Okay, and somehow I got put on for tomorrow, my day off. I enjoy some OT, but damn, if I work too much OT, then it's not worth it after tax. Oh, that's true, bro. Taxes do get you if you work too much OT. It starts putting you in a separate fucking income bracket.
是何人？敢来此仙山？大王料事如神，还真有干劲。乱了阵脚！猴子又来了！大王料事。
Is it like, I don't know, am I even fighting a boss? Like, is this even a boss? What a chance that these songs played back to back. Wow.